Imagine a world where money doesn't exist, yet billionaires already pull all the strings. 20,000 years ago, there were no Forbes lists, but the gap between a prehistoric oligarch and a beggar was a literal chasm between life and death. While we measure success today by digits on a screen, the ancient elite measured it by the power to control the very elements of survival. If you think our ancestors lived in a state of primitive equality, you're about to see how status has been ruling the human race since the dawn of time. Chapter 1. The Tech Giants of the Paleolithic. In a world without factories or stores, your bank account was your toolkit. While the average person struggled with brittle, local stones, the tech mogul of the Stone Age owned obsidian. This volcanic glass, sharper than any modern steel scalpel, was the high-tech asset of the Ice Age. Controlling a source of high-quality flint or obsidian was like owning a Silicon Valley giant today. It meant your spears never failed, and your family never went hungry while others scavenged for scraps. These early elites didn't just use tools, they monopolized the intellectual property of survival. Knowing the secret trade routes for rare materials allowed them to create the first global currency, exchanging stone for protection, skins, or loyalty. Your net worth was quite literally the lethality of your weapons, and in the shadow of a woolly mammoth, that was the only currency that mattered. Chapter 2. Ice Age Real Estate. Forget seaside penthouses. 20,000 years ago, elite real estate meant a deep, dry cave with a strategic view of mammoth migration routes. In an era of eternal winter, owning the right cave was the equivalent of owning a fortress. The most prestigious addresses were those located near permanent water sources or high vantage points, allowing the owner to sit back and watch as the food literally walked toward them. But the true luxury inside these caves wasn't the space, it was the warmth. The most powerful individuals slept closest to the central fire, the VIP section, where the cold couldn't reach. Fire was the most expensive resource on Earth, and if you controlled the hearth, you controlled the social hierarchy. Your home was your survival bunker, and the more defensible it was against predators, the higher your stock rose in the eyes of the tribe. Chapter 3. The Social Hedge Fund. The most valuable portfolio you could hold wasn't made of stone, it was made of people. In the brutal reality of the Paleolithic, a rich man was one with a massive, healthy family. Having many sons meant a private army of hunters, and many daughters meant the power to forge strategic alliances with neighboring tribes. Your family was your insurance policy, your labor force, and your security detail all rolled into one. Status also flowed through the living libraries of the tribe, the elders. These prehistoric consultants held the intellectual property of life itself, from medicinal plant secrets to the locations of hidden springs. Even if they couldn't hunt, their knowledge allowed them to claim the lion's share of every kill, proving that even 20,000 years ago, information was the most profitable asset a human could possess. Chapter 4. Status Symbols and the Luxury of Time. How did you signal your wealth to a rival? Through primitive Rolexes. Necklaces made from rare seashells found hundreds of miles inland, or ornaments carved from the teeth of apex predators, were the ultimate flex. They told the world you had the connections to trade across continents, and the skill to kill the most dangerous animals on the planet. But the ultimate luxury for a Stone Age oligarch was something we still crave today: free time. If you could afford to spend hours on intricate cave paintings or complex games, while everyone else was desperately digging for roots, you had truly won the game of evolution. Leisure was the ultimate proof of power. It showed that you had mastered your environment so completely that survival was no longer a full-time job. The nature of wealth hasn't actually changed in 20,000 years. We've just swapped obsidian for iPhones and caves for condos. We are still driven by the same primal need for security, status, and the freedom to control our time. Subscribe if you want to uncover more ancient instincts that are still secretly running your life today. Tell me in the comments, if you were transported back to the Stone Age, what one luxury would you miss the most? Thanks for watching, and stay curious.